Hey, today we're going to talk about something that's happening a lot in our life. We're feeling like this is something we need to really share, so we're going to do it. Do you feel like you have enough time to create the success that you want for your business? That's going to be our main topic today because, there are so many things keeping you rushing about. You have so many responsibilities, right? Your business is not your only responsibility. And so how do we juggle and make sure that we can, in adding this new thing, if it's new for you, or even if it's not new, there's always things happening. There's always responsibilities. And so how can you kind of marry that to your life? How can you meld that in so that you actually can be successful with your business? That's something that, so that's what we're going to talk about today. We thought, why reinvent the wheel? Let's just go ahead and make things simpler for you and help you, give you some 3 different things that you can do to create your success faster, because it's things that we've learned. So we're going to share those with you that make a bigger difference, make a huge difference. Because as my friend Randy Shaver always says, it's massive action equals massive results. But massive action takes time, right? And we want to get away from the time constraints and figure this whole thing out, right? So I am Debbie Dunford, and David is not with me. That's one of the things that I can mention that we have done and figured out. David is with the kids right now, taking care of them, so that I can be here with you doing this. So that's one of the time things that he and I have worked with and come up with. But yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit more. But so we want to go into how you can create your success and learn from kind of our failures. So as you're coming on, say hi, let me know who you are. If it's a replay, if you would do me a favor and put #replay in it, in the comments, just real quick, takes just a few seconds, just so that I know who's watching the replay and I can say hi to you, give you a shout out after the video. But yeah, so let's dig right in, and welcome. If you're brand new, say hi and let me know that you're new. But okay, so number 1, for the 3 things that you can do to create your success faster. First of all, make sure and track your time. Make sure that the times that you are doing your business, you want to keep track of that and make sure you're not doing less than you think you are. So I know when I first started, I was doing lots of pockets of time to try and get a good amount in, and I have no idea how much time I really spend every day. Because and your situation might be different. My situation was with little kids and homeschooling. My situation was I didn't have, let's take between 10 and 2 or 10 and 12, or whatever a time frame could be. Let's take the time to do that at this time and make sure it happens. Then I know I worked for those 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever. Well, that's a lot, and especially all at once and with little kids, and a lot of times you're like, there's no way I can come up with that much time, right? Well, I bet if you track your time and you, when you do those little pockets, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you'll be surprised, I bet, first of all, how fast your time is adding up. But also, on the flip side, sometimes I felt like I was doing more and felt like I was doing what I needed and spending the time I need up front to grow my business. Sorry, I was just thinking, well, David's in my business, but the time, lost my train of thought a little bit, but what I was trying to get at was just that I realized that in order to do what I want in my business, I need to be able to make sure I am keeping track of that time, so I know how much I'm actually working in it. Because if I don't take that time that I need, every business takes time, right? Every business takes time and money and energy. And so you've got to be willing to put in that effort. hey, thanks for hopping on. Tell me who you are and where you're coming from so I can give you a shout out. But yeah, so that's been huge for me to be able to write down my time and see how much I'm working. And sometimes I'm getting way more done than I realized. And it also has been a huge stress relief for me because I don't have to worry, did I get a good amount of time in or not? Stress has been an issue for me lately. And so in being able to record my time and seeing how much I've done each day, it's made a huge difference for my stress. I feel a lot more comfortable. Oh, look how much time I spent on this today, more than I realized. So great, I can feel good about that and not worry and not stress. And sometimes it's less, and I think, you know what, okay, I better pick up my game tomorrow, right? So it's good to track your time. Number 2 is to have some kind of support, whether that's, like for me right now, David is a huge support. And like I said, he's not here with me right now because he's off with the kids. With littles, that's kind of what we've had to do. And one thing that one way that he's supporting me and our business is he's taking the kids so I can do this. And we'll vice versa, we'll switch it up. But that he's been a huge support, and we've been able to do things a little differently. We've talked and figured out how we're going to do things, when we're going to do them, how much time we want to spend each day. Because this isn't a hobby for us. This is a business. So we need to put time and effort into our business and into our lives for you guys so that we can continue to provide value. But yeah, so that's what he's doing right now. And so any kind of support, maybe it's not your spouse. Because honestly, when I first started, David was trying to be supportive, and he did say, yeah, go for it, I'll support you. But he didn't quite understand everything either with time and how it all worked. And so there were some little gray areas. So he couldn't give me quite as much support as he can now that he's involved with me and he understands. So he's been a huge support. But maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe your parents are super supportive of you. And you can go to them and say, hey, I'm doing this. I just want to kind of come to you and explain my frustrations. And, that's one way to do it. You can also have groups that you are involved with. We have a great community on our fan page. People like you, hopefully, I don't know if you're on my fan page or not, but if you're not, we'd love to have you there. We have a great community there. Facebook groups. There's so many different communities that you can get involved with and get support with, so that you can have that support you need, because it's really, your ups and downs in the business, right? Just like in life, there are so many ups and downs. And so if you don't have that support system with you, it's going to be really hard to come back up out of that down and to not, and make sure I say this right, to not want to give up. Am I saying that right? You don't want to give up. So when it gets hard, you might have the tendency to want to give up because it's so hard and so frustrating. But if you've got that support and those people encouraging you, it makes all the difference, because everyone has the right to have their own success. You have the right to have your success. And so don't give up on yourself. So that support system makes a big difference. And comment if this is providing value to you. Hope this is making sense to you also. Go ahead and put a 1 in the comments if it is making sense to you. And the third thing that we have learned that makes a big difference is, and it goes along with that time, I mentioned David, going and taking the boys. But beyond that, because David goes and he goes to work. So beyond that, what we learned, and what we're still learning, is that we need to figure out what in our lives, and in my life in particular, David has his job, he does these things, and I also have individual things that I do. So what, for me, and as a couple in business, what things do we need to do? What things do we need to get rid of? Because sometimes we have extra things in our life that we can get rid of, that we don't need that responsibility. Maybe something stays, maybe something goes, maybe things just get modified. With my homeschooling, I'm realizing that, and I'm a teacher, right? So I was a teacher, so I'm homeschooling, and I realized, so I take education very seriously. But I realized that my expectations for my kids, even at homeschool, I was demanding too much. And it took me a couple months to realize that this was kind of a problem that was happening anyway. So we're going to scale back. That's something that we can modify. We're not stopping homeschooling. They're going to get a great education still. I just need to make some tweaks and changes. I need to modify it a little bit. And so that's something that will help us with our business and my time and my stress level, because that's another thing. These are all things that have helped me with stress and overwhelm and all those things. Because, am I the only one that gets stressed or overwhelmed? I sure hope not. If you ever have gotten stressed or overwhelmed with your business, please put a little high five, like that's me, like, or the number 5 works too. That it's not just me, that you've gotten those feelings as well. And the last piece of that is what might get added. And so I know I'm talking about, okay, stress relief and all that, but what might get added to help you get more time? And that's one thing that a year ago is where we were looking into this. And one thing that we found, I found this free thing online. I was like, oh, sure, I'll get the free information and find out what it's all about. Because it was something, that looked like it could help with time management and not having to go and bug my friends and family. Like I was hating that. I was not liking getting those texts back where like you can tell it made the whole situation between you and your friend really uncomfortable. Like I just hated it. And so I found this thing that was just a free information thing. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna type in my email address and get that free thing. And it was all about online marketing. And this is something we added, but it has been a huge time saver, because guess what? I do not go and try to find people on social media at the store. I don't go and do those things anymore. So it's a huge, huge time saver to be able to learn the skills to properly market online, not just going on social media and trying to get, new friends. And, I've done all that where you go and get friends online or add your friends or add new friends to Facebook to try and build a relationship and all that. And it works for some people. But I found a more effective way and kind of the way a lot of people are going right now is to online market. And so it's been huge for us, and it's been a huge, huge time saver. So that's something that in looking at what stays and what goes, what can be modified, what gets added, that was one thing that was added that we have not regretted one bit. And so if you want that link by chance, because I have a link to that now, that free info. So if you want a link to the free info, go ahead and put me in the comments, and I'll put it on. I'll put it above the website or above the video too. But yeah, just put me, and I'll be sure to message you that. And also, if you would do me a huge favor, if you know of people that could benefit from this video, from this message, please share it with them. I would sure appreciate it. And also, if you're new and you've not been here before, then go ahead and go on our Facebook group if you're not, on David and Debbie Dunford. We are learning and growing just like you, and we are learning some amazing things, and so we are excited to share those things with you. So please join us there. We are trying to create, and we have started creating this amazing community of great people. The engagements are wonderful. They're good, kind, supportive. It's a supportive environment. So we'd love to have you there. So yeah, have a great one. Thank you so much for joining me, and we will talk to you later. Bye.